Hi there, welcome to Ocker Blue. This is in the foothills of mountains just outside Gubbio, which is an historical settlement, medieval historical setting, and we're kind of on the northern edge of Perugia here. I think you could probably see from the sun on my face that it's pretty warm here, and we're at the middle of January again, as I said in the last video, and I think already it's about 14 degrees. Now, we can't guarantee the temperatures year round, obviously, but considering this is winter, what are we talking? Anyway, to the property. This is the main structure. And upstairs is like a 2-bedroom apartment. Downstairs there's one apartment here. There's another bedroom, bathroom down here. I'll show you later on the back of the property. There's another bedroom, bathroom. And this is a little office here, but could potentially become a small apartment if it was knocked through into the bedroom and the bathroom that's behind. And then as you come around here, you have a separate building which is was a restaurant and industrial kitchen, quite large, thoroughly kitted out with everything you'd ever need to run a business if that's what we were doing. But as a social space, absolutely beautiful, enormous views. Of course, we don't have the characteristic panoramic views of the lowlands here because we're in a small basin, but let me take you down to the river. Past the cars. So there's a little stable here that's collapsing, once housed a donkey, and the land, I don't know if you can see, my finger goes right back up to those trees, includes some of the trees, includes many of the trees behind there, includes all of the trees up this hill, round the back of the property, and there's another field around the back which we'll walk into shortly. But this is something else. Now this bridge and the road coming through here is public access, but it's a little used road for dwellings. But we've had 2 groups of mountain bike cyclists go past whilst we've been here, and two horse riders and several people walking. But this is one of the most fantastic things we really love about this property. And I'm going to stop talking now so you can hear the sound of the river. I would say clearly there's lots of scope for timber. It's not a complete bosky, but there is lots of trees here in and around the property, but certainly on the property itself. Going up a very slight hill, there's a drainage duct been set in here because obviously when it rains, and it has a stone base shortly under the surface it tends to run. So they created this channel so that it avoids the property itself being affected. But as you can see, there's a beautiful patio, grass patio with daisies for the community to enjoy. So here you see the restaurant, big social area. It's got a log burning stove, fan assisted heating, massive kitchen, disabled bathrooms. Yes, it's got a huge amount of appeal. And then here, the forest up to, in this point, the brown tree that's here, but it widens out in this area here over the hill, all over the back of the hill. And along here, halfway between me and this house, is a fence that goes over the back all the way to where the road comes around. And then this is again the rear of the main structure. So it has a few stairs coming into the back of the property, but I kid you not when I say this is an impressive social room with a very, very large kitchen dining room and a beautiful old stone hearth fireplace, very majestic fireplace. The little building just in front of the cars down here is actually a maintenance room for all of the water filtration, storage tanks. It's got no mains water, but it collects its water from a source up this valley, and basically has its own fresh water source from the river, the streams there. It's then filtered. It does have mains electricity, but only has LPG gas. But it has a wood-fired. It has a wood-fired and pellet boiler for all of the heating in this main part of the building. The other building has its own heating system. As I said, there is a secondary LPG heating system in this property, which gives plenty of options. And now you can probably see this tiny little structure here is pizza bread oven, and it's been there, as you can see, a very, very long time, probably long before this tree started to grow. And away in the distance you can possibly see, I think that mountain was called, and then I'll put it in as a subtitle, can't remember what it was called now. And then all of the land inside this road that you can see. So originally this little drive here was the main thoroughfare, but the local commune added this road to circumnavigate the property and make this more obviously private. You can see down here lots of scope for food production in a very, very secluded and safe space. Safe as in protected a lot from large winds, heavy winds. The nearest neighbour, as you can see, is just behind, maybe 250 meters away. And just wanted to give you a feel of the charm. We actually, although this property is already called Oka Blue, which apparently means blue goose, we sort of, Manuela and I, actually nicknamed this before we came as Little House on the Prairie, because it just seems to be, yeah, it seems to be a little bit of paradise away from a considerable amount of yeah, industry, let's say, and pollution. Now obviously there is a mains electricity cable coming in, but that's pretty much the sum of it. The cable then obviously comes through into the service rooms, which are under the rear porch here. And yeah, I think this property has all the hallmarks of something that could be absolutely incredible for a slightly smaller version of Share It community. We are guessing that there's a potential to house around 8 people here currently. However, if you just bear with me a moment, the space where these 2 cars are standing and the space which is a sort of a patio just behind the kitchen area here are both potentially ideal. I say ideal because it would keep the buildings in line for the construction of a separate building, which would have to be attached in some way to these 2 buildings to give it the correct planning acceptance. But a second structure of 2 stories could be parked here, which would be able to increase the capacity of the Share It community by at least, I would say, another 6 to 8 people with small or medium-sized apartments. So I think, yeah, I think this has really got a lot going for it. And as I said, if you have read the website and you've seen the things that we've written about our ideas, our aims and our objects for coming to this part of the world, then you'll see that this kind of ticks all the boxes quite well in terms of giving us some privacy, some solitude, the capacity to, through permaculture, create our almost self-sufficiency, the capacity to provide our own energy needs, and heating, lighting, almost certainly off-grid would be very, very high. And the feel of the place, bearing in mind this is mid-January. Now we know it's going to get cold sometimes. It was very cold this morning when we drove up here, but nestled in the mountains here, it seems to be, I mean, a microclimate. And as I said, we're very close to Gubbio, which is 5 or 6 kilometers in this direction, which is quite a large old medieval town, which has all of the capacity that we would need for doctors, hospitals, food shopping, excursions, you name it. So hopefully this has given you some kind of a feel for where Manuela and I are today and what we feel may lead to some great outcomes for the project. So take care, love and peace.